Long ago, in the ancient lands of the Middle East, specifically in the beautiful and fertile region of Haran, there lived a man of exceptional noble lineage. His name was Ayyub. May peace be upon him. To truly understand his magnificent story, we must look at his roots. He was a direct descendant of the great Prophet Ibrahim. May peace be upon him. His noble bloodline traced back through Prophet Ishaq. This deep heritage gave him an unbreakable spiritual foundation. Allah had chosen Ayyub to guide his people. He was granted the absolute highest honor of prophethood. But Allah also granted him something else in this world. He gave him wealth beyond normal human imagination. Ayyub was one of the wealthiest men of his entire era. He owned vast and endless agricultural lands. His massive fields were always green and highly fertile. He possessed thousands of cattle, sheep, and camels. He had hundreds of loyal servants working on his great estates. His successful trading caravans traveled far and wide across the deserts. His business prospered in every possible direction. Yet, this immense wealth never entered his pure heart. He held his vast riches only in his hands. He knew that every single coin belonged to Allah. He was incredibly generous to the poor and needy. He was a loving and caring father figure to all the orphans. He was the dedicated caretaker and protector of the widows. Travelers would always find warm food and safe shelter at his door. He never turned away a single person who asked for help. He was a man who truly understood the purpose of life. His heart was firmly attached to the hereafter. He knew the world was only a temporary passing phase. People would travel from distant cities just to meet him. They wanted to see the man who had everything but remained so humble. His smile brought comfort to the broken-hearted. His words carried the heavy weight of divine wisdom. Even the animals on his farms were treated with profound mercy. He was a living example of perfection in character. He actively preached the profound message of monotheism. He called the people of Haran to worship only one God. He warned them against the dangers of idol worship and corruption. When difficult disputes arose, people came to Ayyub for fair judgment. He used his high status in society to establish peace and justice. Alongside his incredible wealth, Ayyub had a beautiful family. He was blessed with many wonderful sons and daughters. They brought immense joy and vibrant life to his massive home. His children were healthy, strong, and deeply righteous. His wife was a deeply devoted and incredibly pious woman. Historical traditions mention her beautiful name was Ramah. She was also of noble descent, tracing back to Prophet Yusuf. Together, they built a peaceful home filled with faith and love. For many long years, his life was completely perfect. He would spend his busy days managing his massive estates. He would spend his quiet nights in deep and sincere prayer. His life was a perfect balance of worldly success and spiritual devotion. Every crop harvested from his land was a reason to thank Allah. He proved that wealth does not have to corrupt a pure soul. The angels in the heavens constantly praised his sincere worship. They praised his unwavering and beautiful gratitude to his Creator. But Iblis, the Satan, heard this heavenly praise and became deeply jealous. Satan hated the fact that a wealthy man could be so deeply devoted. Satan believed that Ayyub was only grateful because his life was easy. Satan thought that if the wealth was taken away, Ayyub would become ungrateful. But Satan did not understand the powerful heart of a true prophet. And so, the grand stage was set for the ultimate test. It was a profound test that would be recorded for all of human history. The heavens were preparing for a massive shift in his destiny. The decree of Allah finally came to pass. It was time for Ayyub to face a trial unlike any other. Allah allowed Satan to test this deeply noble prophet. Satan wanted to prove that Ayyub only worshipped out of comfort. The destruction began suddenly and without any warning. A massive and terrifying fire rained down from the sky. It struck the vast and beautiful fields of Haran. The rich green crops were burned to ashes in moments. The thousands of sheep and cattle were completely destroyed. The servants who guarded the wealth were also killed. Only a single servant survived the terrifying disaster. He ran back to the city in a state of pure panic. He found Ayyub praying calmly inside his home. The servant screamed out the devastating news. He told him that absolutely everything they owned was gone. The massive wealth built over a lifetime had turned to dust. Satan waited eagerly for Ayyub to break down and cry. Satan wanted him to complain and question his Lord. But Ayyub did not panic or lose his mind. He did not tear his clothes or curse his fate. He simply finished his prayer with complete peace. He looked at the trembling servant with a calm heart. He calmly said, "Allah gave it to me, and Allah has taken it away." He praised his Lord and bowed down to the ground. Ayyub truly understood that worldly wealth is only a temporary loan. He returned to his prayers, even more devoted than before. Satan was absolutely furious at this beautiful reaction. His evil plan to break the prophet's faith had completely failed. So Satan asked for permission to strike closer to home. He wanted to target the ultimate joy of Ayyub. He wanted to take away his beautiful and beloved children. Allah, in his infinite wisdom, allowed the test to continue. One day, all the sons and daughters were gathered together. They were eating and talking joyfully in their eldest brother's house. Suddenly, a massive and violent wind swept through the valley. The fierce storm struck the house with terrifying force. The heavy roof collapsed directly on top of them. In a single heartbreaking moment, every single child was killed. The silence that followed the storm was heavy and deeply tragic. Another messenger ran to deliver the crushing news to Ayyub. This was a pain that no father should ever have to bear. To lose just one child is an unimaginable tragedy. But Ayyub lost all of his children on the exact same day. The grief in his chest was deep and completely overwhelming. Tears flowed freely from his noble eyes. Islam does not forbid the natural tears of a grieving heart. But even in this extreme sorrow, his tongue remained pure. He fell to the ground in complete submission to his Creator. He wept softly, but he did not utter a single word of complaint. He knew that his children were a gift from Allah, and the giver has the ultimate right to take his gifts back. His incredible patience shook the angels in the heavens. His unbreakable faith was stronger than the mountains of Haran. Satan watched in total defeat and absolute disbelief. No matter how hard he struck, Ayyub only grew closer to Allah. But this legendary trial was still not over. The hardest and most agonizing phase was yet to come. A physical test that would last for many long years was waiting in the shadows. Satan was deeply humiliated by his repeated failures. He had destroyed the wealth and the children, but the faith remained. So Satan asked Allah for one final and devastating permission. He wanted to strike the physical body of Prophet Ayyub. Allah permitted this but completely protected the Prophet's heart and tongue. Satan blew a poisonous breath over the noble body of Ayyub. Instantly, a severe and agonizing illness took over him. It was a disease that exhausted him from his head to his toes. Every single movement became a source of immense physical pain. His strong and healthy body grew incredibly weak and fragile. Days turned into weeks, and weeks slowly turned into years. The illness did not fade, it only grew worse with time. As his sickness prolonged, the people of Haran grew afraid. They feared that his mysterious disease might be highly contagious. The same people who used to seek his wisdom now avoided him. His friends and distant relatives completely stopped visiting his home. Eventually, the scared townspeople forced him to leave the city. The great prophet was exiled to a lonely and barren place outside Haran. He who once owned endless green lands was now completely homeless. He who once had hundreds of servants was left completely alone. Almost everyone in the world had abandoned him in his darkest hour. But there was one person whose pure loyalty never broke. His deeply devoted wife, Rama, absolutely refused to leave his side. She remembered the beautiful golden years they had shared together. She became his nurse, his caretaker, and his only true companion. Because they had absolutely no money left, Rama had to find work. The former lady of the greatest estate now worked as a humble servant. She would go into the city to do hard physical labor for other families. She used her tiny daily wages to buy simple food for Ayyub. She would patiently feed him, clean him, and comfort him through the extreme pain. Her profound dedication is one of the greatest examples of love in human history. Years of immense and crushing suffering dragged on endlessly. Some authentic traditions say this incredibly harsh trial lasted for 18 long years. Throughout this massive physical torture, Ayyub never once complained. His dry lips constantly moved in the silent remembrance of Allah. When the pain was at its absolute peak, he simply praised his Creator. One day, the people of the city refused to give Rama any more work. They told her to stay away because they were too scared of her husband. She had absolutely no money left to buy any food for the suffering prophet. Out of pure and heavy desperation, she made a heartbreaking sacrifice. She cut off her beautiful and long braids of hair. She sold her hair to a wealthy woman in the city in exchange for some bread. When she brought the food to Ayyub, he asked her where she got it from. When she uncovered her head, he realized what his noble wife had done. His strong heart, which had survived the loss of everything, finally broke. He had endured the loss of wealth, children, and health with perfect silence. But seeing the extreme suffering and public humiliation of his loyal wife was too much. He realized he had reached the absolute final limit of human physical endurance. The time had finally come to raise his weak hands to the heavens. The darkest night was about to end, and the divine light was ready to shine. Ayyub lay in his weak and fragile state. He did not demand a miraculous cure from his Lord. He did not express any anger over his 18 long years of extreme pain. Instead, he made one of the most beautiful and humble prayers in human history. He raised his trembling hands toward the sky. He whispered softly, "Indeed, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful." He simply stated his painful condition and praised Allah's infinite mercy. This perfect display of manners shattered the heavens. Allah immediately responded to his beloved and highly patient servant. The divine command came down with absolute power. Allah commanded him, "Strike the ground with your foot." Ayyub used the very last bit of his remaining strength to strike the earth. Instantly, a pure and miraculous spring of water gushed out from the dry dust. Allah told him to wash his tired body with this cool and healing water. Allah also told him to drink deeply from the pure and blessed spring. As the sacred water touched his sick skin, the terrible disease completely vanished. As the cool water flowed down his throat, all of his internal pain disappeared. In a single miraculous moment, 18 agonizing years of suffering were entirely erased. His youth, his physical strength, and his glowing beauty were instantly restored. When his deeply loyal wife Rama returned to the spot, she could not find her sick husband. Instead, she saw a strong, handsome, and incredibly healthy man standing there. She asked the stranger if he had seen the sick prophet, not realizing it was him. Ayyub smiled warmly and told her that Allah had finally lifted the heavy trial. Rama wept tears of pure and absolute joy as she hugged her healed husband. But the divine reward for such incredible patience did not end there. Authentic Islamic traditions tell us that Allah sent a special cloud over Ayyub. The cloud rained down literal golden locusts that piled up high around him. Ayyub began to gather the gold, smiling at the infinite and beautiful bounty of his Lord. Allah miraculously restored all of his vast lands and his massive estates. Allah also blessed Rama with renewed youth and perfect glowing health. Together, they were graciously granted double the number of children they had previously lost. Their massive home was once again filled with laughter, vibrant life, and profound joy. Ayyub lived a long and deeply blessed life long after his heavy trial ended. He became the ultimate and eternal symbol of perfect human patience. His magnificent story proves that after every dark hardship, there is massive ease. It shows that Allah never forgets the silent and painful tears of the patient believers. And it reminds us that worldly tests are just a temporary path to divine elevation. This is the true and highly beautiful legacy of Prophet Ayyub. The magnificent story of Prophet Ayyub is now complete. But there are massive and profound lessons we must discuss to truly understand it. Many people wonder why Allah would heavily test his most beloved servants. The answer lies in understanding the true nature of divine love and wisdom. When Allah deeply loves a person, he tests them to elevate their spiritual rank. Worldly loss is absolutely never a sign of Allah's anger or hatred. Prophet Ayyub proved that true patience is not just remaining quiet. Beautiful patience means enduring massive pain without ever complaining to the creation. He directed his profound grief and his silent tears only to his Creator. Another crucial lesson is the immense power of divine etiquette during prayer. When Ayyub finally made his prayer, he did not make a proud demand. He did not angrily say, "Oh Allah, you must cure me right now." He simply acknowledged his own physical weakness. Then he beautifully praised the ultimate and infinite mercy of Allah. This shows us the highest and most perfect level of respect toward God. We must also highlight the legendary and beautiful character of his wife. Rama represents the absolute highest standard of loyalty and true companionship. She stood by his side when the entire world turned its back on him. She proved that true love is tested in the dark days of severe hardship. Finally, we must correct a very common and highly dangerous historical misconception. Some weak cultural stories claim that his illness made his flesh fall off. Some false legends say his noble body was filled with disgusting worms. Authentic Islamic scholars completely reject these ugly and disrespectful descriptions. Prophets are always divinely protected from diseases that make them repulsive. His illness was incredibly painful, highly exhausting, and completely paralyzing. But it never once stripped him of his noble and beautiful prophetic dignity. The majestic story of Ayyub will remain a shining light until the end of time. It teaches every single broken heart that absolute relief is always coming. It reminds us that after every dark and heavy storm, the sun will shine again. It teaches us that Allah is always watching, always listening, and always merciful.